morning at 7 a.m. we are doing Nejang Longevity Yoga. And that will be here in the conference center in the empty side of the room. So these are practices that are different from yoga that you find in yoga studios in New York City or wherever you may come from. And they are said to lengthen your life and improve the quality of your life while you're lengthening it. So we recommend
it's a very simple yoga.
It is very simple. Even I can do it. I'm not a yogi, and I have done these, and they're really invigorating. They're, these different breath techniques, and whoa. Okay, I won't do those with a microphone. But anyone can do them. You don't have to be in excellent physical shape to benefit from them. So we recommend that you try them. And that's it for me. I'm going to sit down and listen.
Should I use that?
I don't think so. I think it's more comfortable to use that one.
Yeah.
Is it working? Yeah.
It's working? Oh no. Hello, Tashdele. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. So, about dream yoga, go to sleep. All right. So, who are the yoga practitioners? How many yoga practitioners are here? Oh, only a few. What yoga? What kind of yoga do you do? Plini. Hatha. Who is Hatha? Oh, Hatha yoga. All right, great. So, what yoga means? Union. Okay, first let's talk about yoga. Yoga is a combination of two words, right? One is yo and one is ga. Yo, ga. Do you know what yo means? Yo means the original state or the pristine state. Okay, original state. So if you don't understand my English, you can stop me and you can ask me. Okay, I will explain to you in Tibetan. So, then for sure you'll get it. So yo means the original state or the pristine state, and ga means to achieve it. All right, achieve it and to regain it. And somehow it's very similar, like our state. Our state is like a water. And our water, actually in our body, we have like 70 to 75% is water, right? More? Okay, 80% for you. All right, 70 to 80% of our body is water. You know that, right? And so if we talk about the water, originally all type of water, it's pure. The nature of water is pure. But then somehow water can be stirred, or water can be mixed with sand or mud, and then water is becoming dirty or muddy water, right? Or even pollutions, chemicals, contaminations. And even we put poisons in water, but the nature of water always stays the same. It's always pure. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That's why we can refilter the water, right? So something similar. The nature of water is always the original state. It's pure and pristine. But somehow the water always can be mixed up, with sand, mud, earth, or garbage, or chemicals, whatever. And then water can be stirred up, and we call it dirty water, okay, or muddy water. But then through the filtering process, we can regain the pure water. It's a very simple system, right? And that's called yoga. Okay, originally we are all like pure human beings when we are very little. And probably the moment when we are conceived, that moment is just full of bliss, right? Bliss or happiness, gawa, like you are spa. We are just, very this little thing is full of happiness and joy, right? And probably our mother was saying, "Oh God, I'm coming," but we entered there. Oh, bad joke, sorry. Okay, so it's it's a happy moment, it's a happy moment, right? It's a very happy moment. The start of this life is a very happy moment. So that happy moment is the original moment, it's the pure moment. But then, through our mothers, the nourishment and blood, the fetus, we start to grow up, and then we spend there more than 9 months, and then we get tired and bored to staying in mother's womb, and then we do the kicking and this, and we come out. And still we are kind of our state is kind of very pure, the nature of human is very pure. We are a very original version, a very pristine state, right? And I think that moment we are, yeah. Do you know what is the first human mantra? Ah. Did anyone teach you that, how to say ah? No, you did it. No, when you were born. How did you say that? What did you say when you were born? The moment when you were born? That's good. That's called also the original mantra, okay? The pristine mantra is ah. Actually, in the dream yoga, we'll use this sound ah too. That's also the central of our throat chakra. So, yeah. And then the newborn babies, we were all newborn babies, and we all had our original version of ourselves. And somehow we are all unique, and meanwhile also we're all perfect our own way, right? My nose is smaller than your nose, but it's perfect in its own size. And so it's something like that. It's very simple. Life was very simple, and life was very pure, and our emotions were also very simple, right? Most of the time we sleep, and then when we cry, it means we're hungry, or when we cry, it means we poop, Then our poor mummies, they run, they clean us, they feed us. So somehow the growing up process, it's a very original version, right? They're all called the yo, okay? But then we start to enter the kindergarten, primary school, and we meet our first teachers, and then all problems starts. Once we start to learn ABC and the mathematics, 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 1 is 5, something. Oh no, 2 + 1. Okay, never mind. So then we start to feel. You see, can you imagine this pure water, like little spring is coming out? Everything is kind of very nice and clean and pure, and then the water is flowing down, and then like it had to go through the sand, the mud, and garbage and these things. And then that's actually how our life starts to mess up, right? So once we become teenager, then we have to face many things. We think we are grown up, and many things we are much better than our parents, and this and that. And so then everything that's really the steering part. The water gets stirred, and then more and more, and then the college life, and then more and more, then the love stories even stirring more, and then broken hearts and getting married and kids and this and that. Now we are here. So, and that's why we need to have this ga. Ga means we have to refilter. All right? Nobody was born with depression, right? And nobody was born with unhappiness. And nobody was born with stress. Nobody was born with anxiety. Nobody was born with problems. Even we believe in karma. So the nature of the yo means this original version of ourselves, right? Like the flowers. It doesn't matter what color, what size, and how many petals, and where you grow in the high plateau or tropic seasons, or it doesn't matter, right? So all flowers they are perfect in their way. And all of us, we are kind of perfect in our own way, right? But then once we really start our education and study and so many things, education, maybe it's good, but I think it's a kind of, the process of brainwash, And then that's the steering part. And then we really lose our own original nature, right? Because we all become kind of like an army. We have to think like others. We have to be like the others. We have to talk like others. We have to behave like others. And so that's the process. We lose the nature of the yo. Okay? We lose the nature of many secondary conditions. Right? Our culture, our tradition, our education, the society, and so many things. And many of them, they are becoming also pressure. They are becoming the cause of the pressure, cause of the traumas, and this and that. And yeah, instead of like individual flowers growing its own way, somehow we had to grow in a farm with how do you call it? Pesticides with pesticizers, gem-free sprays, all these things. And then the water is really gets there, right? And I think also physical level, like 70 to 80% of our body is liquid, it's water. And so once we have the physical problems, somehow our water gets stirred, water is messed up, right? And then mentally, emotionally is the same thing, right? Yeah, even in a how do you say, in a chemical way, we are not free from chemicals. We are made of chemicals, right? And we are even we don't like chemicals, we are made of chemicals. But there's some chemicals that are called the original chemicals, the pristine chemicals. Nothing is wrong. It's just part of yourself. And chemicals are keeping the balance and giving us a life, right? So somehow, as I said, because of many external conditions, so we lost that original state, okay? Yo is finished. And then we have to use the ga as a refiltering the process, okay? Actually, all the yoga, what we do, exercise, physical, mental, mantra chanting, they're all called the ga. Ga, ga, ga. Like Lady Gaga. That's the ga process, okay? So we refilter, and we can get our nature back. Okay, that's called the yoga. So it's a Sanskrit word. And somebody said it's union, right? Yoga means union. And then there are different views, to union with God, to union with the divine self, to union this and that. It's very simple. To just be original ourselves, right? So we is not like, how do you say? We don't have this pure and divine state. And that was our original nature. But somehow it's messed up. But still we didn't lose it completely, you know. And that nature cannot be destroyed, right? The nature of water never can be destroyed. So somehow the human nature cannot never be destroyed. But the problem is like messed up, okay? So then we have Ga process and yoga. So Tibetan word is called the ngöndro. The translation, yoga is Sanskrit. And if you want to know actually the best translation from Sanskrit to other languages, the Tibetan language is the best language, okay? Because Tibetan language was very close to Sanskrit, and the great translators, they are able to translate the Sanskrit words one by one. Probably Tibetan language is only the one who translated the yo and ga separately, and then we can put together, okay? So we call ngöndro. Nel means Nelma, the pristine, or the original. Jor means to get it again, achieving it, okay? And then if you practice Indian Ashtanga yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Ashtanga yoga. Okay, I think even you don't practice, if you're interested in yoga, it's important to read Ashtanga yoga. Because Ashtanga yoga means 8 branches, right? 8 branches. How many do you see? How many branches? 10, no, this way, 8 now. Okay. And in Ashtanga yoga, there are 8 branches. So they're explaining the yoga in 8 different ways. Okay? 8 different ways they're explaining yoga. It's a very complete system. And then many yogas, we are just taking only one part of this yoga. So that's why today, when we say yoga, especially in the West, and yoga it's known as a physical exercise, right? When you say yoga, everybody knows, okay, I have to do some physical exercises. It's kind of like a spiritual sport. Actually, many people, they are doing as a spiritual sport or spiritual stretching muscles, this and that. That's a kind of, I think it's a superficial yoga. But in generally, we think yoga, it's a body work, physical work. That's the wrong view, right? So when we say yoga, to refilter ourselves or to process ourselves, we have to process ourselves in 3 different ways, okay? And these 3 different ways, they are called 3 aspects of ourself. And 3 aspects of ourself, in Tibetan tradition, they are called the 3 gates. 3 gates. Okay? Gate number 1 is, guess? Body, yes. And gate number 2 is speech. Very good. And gate number 3 is very good. Okay, I don't need to teach. You know already. Yeah, exactly. All right. So then when we talk about the body is the 1 gate, it's very interesting, So we refilter ourselves, right? We try to approach, it's like self-approach. And some of us, we are more easy to approach ourselves, to understand ourselves, more physical way. And some of us more speech level, and some of us more mental level. All right? And, some people, they are more sporty, right? They love to do sport exercises and this. How many sporty people here? The physical guys here. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. So you guys can show us the yoga, right? acrobat. Okay, so that's called the body yoga. Can you write? Body yoga. Body yoga. Physical people. So, like we have our different approaches, right? It's something funny in Western psychology. When you have a mental problem, you have to talk with your psychologist, right? You try to fix your problem with psychologist. If psychologists cannot fix your problems, they will send you to psychiatrist. And then they try to use electric shock, chemical injections, and super powerful pills, and this, they try to put you asleep, and this and that. If that doesn't work, then they lock you up, right, in the cells. Yeah, it's different stages, right? That's called the Western psychology. Uh-oh, any psychologists are here?
She's the first stage.
First stage.
She fixes them all.
Yeah, we are not scared of first stage ones, yeah. All right, so, and somehow, sometimes the people, let's say they have psychological issues, mental issues, but maybe it's not something wrong with the mental level, right? We need to unblock something physically. Maybe people need to do exercise, go for a walk, and this and that. And the gate for this person, maybe the gate is the body, is not the mind, right? They are already get lost in the mind, and you try to fix their lost the mind. It's messing up, it's staring more, right? Already use another stick and stare like this. It's called a double staring. Sorry. Yeah, one my friend said, my friend asked me, he said, did you send any of your patient to psychologist? I said, yes, of course, because many people, they have psychological problems. She said, please don't send to them. I said, what's wrong? She said, I have been one, actually it's an Italian psychologist. Are you Italian? Okay. She said, don't send them to the psychologist. She said, I thought I was okay. But after having my psychotherapy, now I feel much worse. The losing my essence. Then I was thinking, you stare this way, and psychologists stare the other way around. So double staring. Okay. That's why I think to this, the concept of a gate is really important, right? We all have ups and downs, and the feeling of sadness, unhappiness, or little bit depressed, anxiety, and all these things. And many of these things, if you know you are what type, you are body type or speech type or mental type, then we can find our way. That is our first entrance door, right? That's our first gate. You open that gate, and that's the main gate, right? So I really believe the body part can fix mental problems, right? The same way mental part can fix the body problems, okay? But somehow also the body part, we try to, okay, there's a bone fracture, having operation, surgical, everything try to fix in physically, and physical level, it doesn't work. So it requires the mental, balance the state, mental relaxation and this and that. If you're mentally really calm and relaxed, your body heals very fast, right? So, yeah. So we have the body yoga, and especially if you are kind of sporty and you like to use your physical body, the body yoga is really good. And then the second one is mental yoga. Have you heard about mental yoga? So mental yoga is meditation. It's exactly the same, okay? And this is the confusion between Indian yoga to Tibetan yoga. Indian yogas are mainly about body yoga. I'm not saying all yogas. That's why I mentioned already Ashtanga yoga, 8 branch, In Ashtanga yoga, they talk about mental visualizations and this and that, many of them. But today, most of yogas, most yogas have been introduced in the West. I think it's also same in India. Most of them, they are physical exercises, body yoga. Okay, that's why in Tibetan word, we have very precise name for this body yoga. It's called the Luki Nanjur. Nanjur means yoga. Lu means body. Body is yoga. Okay. And then the mental yoga, we call it the Yiki Nanjur, means mind yoga. Mind yoga. So some people, they are not so good physical level. They are not sporty. They are not good to using their body and so on, but they are super talented mentally. Their mind is very smart and sharp and mathematic, analytic, and so on. Okay, right? Some people, they really enjoy with their mind, because their mind has this sharpness, the intelligence, this and that, right? They like to count things, counting, calculating, all that. Some people are so strange, they love numbers. Yeah, then that's their gate, you see. Their self-gate is the mind, okay? And then we have the third gate, that's called the speech gate. Speech. Who loves to speak? Not so many. Only 4 people. Wow. 5. Then I'm in trouble. I have to speak. Next stage. I think Bob is this speech door. Yeah.
Yes.
Speech gate.
It never closes.
If Bob comes here, we can open his gate. Yeah, some people, they enjoy talking, right? Do you enjoy talking? Yeah, enjoy talking, enjoy singing, chatting, what else? And chanting. Chanting mantras. Chanting. Right? They can really chant and chant and chant and chant. Physical yoga, you ask them yoga, they are so lazy. And mental yoga, they are so stupid. No, not stupid. Maybe mentally they are lazy too. No, that's a bad joke. Okay, physically lazy, mentally, how do you say? Mentally slow, let's say. Physically lazy, mentally slow, but they enjoy the talk, right? The speech. And that their gate is the speech. And then you should really chant. Your yoga is chanting meditation. So in Tibetan, it's called the Naki Nanjur. Nak means the speech. Okay? In Indian tradition, for example, there is pranayama, right? Pranayama is more about breathing, right? Breathing. So that is a typical speech yoga. In Tibetan tradition, we call it speech yoga. Okay? When we say speech, energy, chanting, and these are always the same words. All right. So as he said already, from tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, we have the yoga. That will be the body yoga. Okay, morning exercise. If you are not so lazy, it's good to join it. And then in the dream yoga, we will do a little bit of 3 of them. But what do you think? Dream is connected with which gate? Mind. Dream is more about mind, right? Our physical body, what happens when we are dreaming? What happens? Our physical body is basically paralyzed, right? Basically. basically paralyzed. Our muscles, they are not, no muscles are working, so it's a deep relaxation state or paralyzed state, you know. But especially you see from the kids, you know, when they are sleeping, I completely like that. So body is kind of paralyzed. It means there's no channel functions. Our channels are not working anymore, so they are in pause. Okay? And then our speech. Do you speak when you are sleeping? Rarely. Not so often, right? We snore more. That's not yoga. Snoring is not considered as yoga, okay? Snoring is what? Snoring is a disorder. Anyone snore here? Yeah? You snore a lot? Pretty much. Are you married? No. Oh God. Oh, thank God. Sorry, it's a joke.
It's a serious joke. My husband is a snorer.
Why do more men snore than women?
Because men are more complicated. Yes, please.
What is your heart?
Let's get your microphone.
Oh, that's okay. Just a little question. It seems like your heart could be a gateway. So why is the heart not a gateway? Or is it a gateway?
Yeah, the heart is mind together.
Oh, okay.
Heart is mind. Yeah. Okay, can you put in the bracket?
Okay, then I mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we say mind, the heart, consciousness, soul, they're all in one. Okay? Yeah. Good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Yeah, you're right. You're talking more like the feelings, love, sentiment, right? Yeah.
Devotion, bhakti yoga, the mother.
Yeah. That's in the mind one. That's why we have this Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga is about love, compassion, devotion, aspiration, sensation. Actually, I didn't say that because it never finished, right? Okay. Yeah, so speech, we are not using the speech anymore while we are sleeping, right? Snoring, okay, maybe we'll talk tomorrow about sleeping disorders. So the snoring, it's a kind of disorder, and so on. Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow, okay? So therefore our body is kind of paralyzed. Our speech door, the gate also is shut down. We are not using it. Of course, only breathing. And then the mind part is active. Okay, in the night, that part is active. So it's interesting because body is kind of stopped and speech is stopped, right? Two parts of ourselves, two gates are shut down and one gate is open. So that's why our mind or our heart has lots of chance in the night to create the inner space. Okay? It is like once you open that door is kind of like the door of another universe, entire universe. Okay? The door of the night, the gate of the night. But it goes with the mind. So that's why dream yoga is considered part of the mind yoga. Okay? And then if you want to know more about this mind yoga, so we can say, have you heard about Tibetan 6 yogas? Naropa 6 yogas. It's very famous, in Tibetan tradition. We call it 6 yogas, or Naropa 6 yogas, or Niguma 6 yogas, or in our tradition in Yuthok, we have Yuthok 6 yogas. Okay? All right, so the 6 yogas, mainly they are part of this mental yoga. Okay? 6 of them. There are 6 yogas, but they are divided in 3 groups. Okay? Or 3 parts. The first part is called the daytime yoga, the yoga of the day. And second part is called the night yoga. Okay? And then the last part is called the yoga of the moment of death. So actually, it's interesting. I started with the yoga, the moment when we were conceived. Then the little feta start to grow, and then our mother give birth, and then slowly we grow up and these things, right? So all this process is the process of the life, okay? And the yoga is connected with our life. What do we have in our life? What do we have in our life? We have only 2 things, day and night, okay? If you don't like that, I can give you night and day. Okay, day and night, or night and day. We don't have anything else. Do you have anything else? That's the cycle. It's called the samsara. We repeat the day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night, right? Maybe it's in the different time and different space, but our experience, we are repeating the same thing. So that's why if you want to filter yourself, to refilter, clean yourself in the daytime, you got the daytime day yoga, okay? So there are 2 yogas. One is the inner heat yoga, tummo, inner heat yoga, tummo. Or one is illusory body, or magic body. Can you say magic body? Professor Thurman, he liked to translate this Maya yoga, Maya Kaya yoga, illusory body yoga. Normally, we call it illusory body, but Professor always says magic body, right? He will tell you why. So, yeah, tummo is the inner heat, and then the magic body yoga. Magic body yoga is like how do you say? Yoga is like how to deal with our emotions, the balance between mind and body. These 2 things. And then in the night, guess what we have in the night? What do you do in the night? Can you tell me? When you fall asleep, you just dream directly? What? Who said sleep? Wow, he's so smart. Remember, first we sleep and then we dream. So we do 2 things. It means we have sleep yoga and then we have dream yoga. Okay? So it's 2 different things, sleep yoga and dream yoga. Okay? So in the medical science, we have deep sleep state and the dreaming state, right? Dreaming state is called the REM, rapid eye movement. How do you say it? REM.
Rendas.
REM. Rapid eye movement, right? REM. All right. So that's the dream state. But before we reach the dream state, about, let's say, 30 to 60 minutes, or some people even longer, it's called the deep sleep state, right? It means we have no dreams. We have no dreams. And do you know what happens during the deep sleep state? What happens, do you know?
Delta, the brain goes into delta waves and the cells rejuvenate.
So what's happening in your mind then?
Clear
Not
light
much.
state. Clear light state.
Very good. Wow.
What did you say?
Clear light state.
She said a clear light state.
you're aware of it.
Sorry?
If you're aware of it.
Yeah, yeah. Of course. Of course. So that deep sleep state, also known as clear light state. Okay? It's interesting, you know, normally when we experience this deep sleep state, normally when we experience that part, our experience is like a dark state, right? You fall asleep like in coma. Like no memories, no worries. The good thing is no worries, you know. The bad thing is no memories. And so it's like basically we fall in a dark space. We don't know what's going on, and then we wake up. We go, wow, I had a deep sleep, good sleep. You know, maybe we feel like 1 or 2 hours, we slept already 6, 7 hours, right? So that's called the deep sleep state. Some people, they can stay in the deep sleep long time. I think mostly we are 30 to 60, maybe sometimes even 90 minutes. Okay, but according to Tibetan tradition, we have this clear light state. So it's saying the deep sleep state actually is not a dark space. It's a space of light, full of light. But that light is so subtle. And that light is so profound and so deep. And we can't experience that. It's like when we see that light, we are kind of fainted and we don't notice, right? And so that's why the clear light yoga is the mindful sleeping, you know, mindful sleeping. So we have to train ourselves the moment of falling asleep, when our brain waves are shifting from one to the next one, you know, okay, now I'm this way, oh, now the next one, oh, no. So there are two things that are going on in the night. And we repeat that again and again, you know, right? Do you know the symbol of Chinese yin yang, a ball, white and black? That's our life, day and night, day and night. It goes on, goes on, goes on. But end of our life, we have special moment. It's called the moment of the death. Okay. It will come one day. Okay, it will come one day. And we don't know when it's coming, but it will sure one day will come. And then normally what we think about our death is, it's confusion, okay? Some people says, okay, I don't want to know about this. And some people says, oh, death is not my business. I don't need, once I'm dead, I don't need to pay anything. But you don't know, they have to pay. You have to pay for the coffin, for the funeral, for lots of expenses, right? So some people says that, this is, oh, I don't care, oh, I don't know, oh, it's not my business, or this. You see, it's interesting. It's when we talk about the death, it's more confusion, you know. So people try to refuse it, repress it, or ignore it. But somehow it doesn't work. And sooner or later, we all go through this. Maybe firstly, not by ourselves, but maybe our loved ones, you know, maybe friends, family members, this and that. But it's actually not, you know, in Tibetan system, the death is not something bad or negative or not something terrible. It's just simply, it's a part of our life. Right? It's just a small part of our life. So that's why we don't care about that. That's why we have two yogas, the moment of death. Okay? One is called the Powa. One is called the Powa yoga. And Powa, actually, it's Powa means to die mindfully, or also to die, how do you say, fast away. Do you understand? Emergency exit. It's called the spiritual emergency exit. The moment to come, You do powa. Powa is quite simple. You need to just do one hiccup. And you can control your mind and you can eject your consciousness from the skull. Okay? So it's a mindful death, you know. It's a control the mindful death. Actually, it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. It means at end of the life, you know, we can control our own life. It's our choice. It's not choice of the death. It's not the death is choosing us. We choose the death. You want it in the morning, you hiccup in the morning. You don't want to die in the morning, you tell the death, you come back in the evening. I want you in the evening. That's called the power. And also today there's so many people, they want to kill themselves, right? Commit suicide. Who never thought to kill yourself here? Who never thought to kill yourself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9? Only 1/3. Okay, never mind. If you want to kill yourself, according to Tibetan tradition, is okay. But first you have to study powa. Bad information. But if you study powa, then you will realize the value of life. Okay? You will realize the value of life. Yes?
Was your question, do you want to die? Are you thinking of suicide now, or was your question, have you ever in your life?
No, in the life, in the past.
But what he asked was, have you never thought?
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a double negative.
Because I don't think it's that unusual. People think of it.
Yeah. No, I'm not asking now.
Yeah.
Now we are already in paradise, you know. Nella paradise. Medicine Buddha's paradise. Okay. All right. Then Bardo. Bardo means the journey of afterlife. Okay? Journey of afterlife. Yeah, it's interesting. The birth is a journey. The life is a journey. Death is a journey, and afterlife is another journey. So, you know, that's our kind of like unstoppable journey. It's called the samsara, going like, you know, turning again and again. Okay, that's called the 6 yogas. You see, that's why Tibetan yogas and many of these yogas are focused on the mental yoga. Okay, mental yoga. And plus, your question was good, this heart and devotion, and this part is called the Guru Yoga. Tomorrow I'll explain to you Guru Yoga, the Yuthok's Guru Yoga. Okay? Actually, the Guru Yoga empowers all 6 yogas. Can you write a big circle and to say it, Guru Yoga? It empowers all 6 yogas. Okay? Then, of course, we're talking about devotion, aspiration, love, compassion, trust, belief, and all these things. Okay? All this, the quality of the heart, you can always empower other yogas. So that's actually in the spiritually, of course, the main engine or the main energy. Love, compassion, devotion, those are the main energy. You know, these energies can make flow the other 6 yogas. Okay? All right, and then of course, if you ask me, then what is Tibetan body yoga? So in the Tummo, we have this body yoga. Okay? In the Tummo, there's it's called Tsalung. Can you write it down? Tibetan body yoga, especially for the Tsalung. Tsalung Tulkur. Yeah, that's about yogas. So yoga is very complex, right? If you really think about yoga, it's complex. And then there are some other yogas. Okay, what part is not included in this circle? day, night, and this. What part is not included?
Enlightenment?
Huh?
Enlightenment?
Enlightenment. Death, we have it, the moment of death. Okay, enlightenment is our goal, the final goal, okay? That's, I don't know, maybe we can't say it's a part of our life. That's the final goal of our spiritual journey, okay? And that journey you can reach with the day yoga, the yoga of the daytime, or you can reach that final goal with the night yoga, and even the final goal you can reach the moment of death. Okay, it's possible. So according to Tibetan tantras, according to this Guya Samaja Tantra, the enlightenment is the moment of the death. Okay, enlightenment is the moment of death. And then according to Ati Yoga and so on, the enlightenment is the moment of day or night. According to Clear Light Yoga, enlightenment is in the night. Okay? So enlightenment is the final destination. Final destination. And then what part is missing here?
Between the going and coming. Between the going and coming.
That's called the bardo.
Karma yoga.
Between coming and going is bardo. This is the afterlife journey. This bardo is actually this between coming and going. That can repeat. Then we call 6 bardos. Okay? What else is missing there?
Karma yoga?
Huh?
Karma yoga?
Karma yoga means work.
Yeah. That's my main yoga.
Okay, good. Okay. Maybe you're saying Karma Mudra, yeah? Are you saying Karma Yoga or Karma Mudra? Huh?
That's work too.
Sexy work.
Okay, that's it. Do you have any questions about yoga? Let's call it Introduction to Yoga. If you have any questions on yoga, please ask me.
You said, was it Maya yoga that was how to deal with our emotions, or was that Tummo yoga?
Emotions, that's magic body.
Okay. So what's
It's called the Maya Kaya Yoga.
what is Tummo? What's the energy
Tummo is
yoga
inner heat.
for?
The Tummo heat is in your body, you generate heat. And then the heat, the energy of heat is a solar energy. So you can generate this solar energy. Once this solar energy arises, so this burns down all our negative karma or energies.
Is that the same as Kundalini energy?
Can be similar. Can be similar. I cannot say it's exactly the same. So normally, Tummo, the word of Tummo, Sanskrit name is called Chandali. Chandali. Chandali is supposed to be a very wild and dangerous lady. So that's the solar energy, okay? So in this system, solar energy is a feminine energy, and lunar energy is a masculine energy. And so somehow in Tummo, you focus more on solar energy. So you have to raise up or generate the solar power, solar energy. So once the solar energy arises up, the body heat, the temperature is coming up, and this burns all negative energies or sicknesses and these things. And actually, it's a very powerful transforming process. Okay, let's say we are filtering the water. So Tummo means the filtering system is a fire system. you boil the water and then after boiled is like purified, something like that. Okay, that's the Tummo's processing system. So of course then it's not only the generating the heat, when we say Tummo, the generating the heat is the base, but then the result what we get is first you generate the heat, and then secondly you'll achieve with the heat you can achieve more bliss or joy. Do you understand?
I think I do.
Let's say your joy or the bliss is in your brain. Okay, I just give you a very simple example. Your brain is full of joy and bliss, but somehow it's kind of frozen. Okay, and it's like a cold heart. It's like a cold feeling. So everything is like iced, is frozen. And then we are unable to feel and enjoy our own joy and the bliss. So that's why we have to bring the fire up, the solar power. And once the fire is burning, coming up, it melts that ice. And then the power of our joy and the bliss and the happiness is completely burned down, and then the joy and the bliss is melting down, flooding down, and then hallelujah. So that's why in the Tummos, the main practice is called the union of the heat and bliss. So somehow they are separated, okay? And then I give you another very simple example. The how do you say, the moment of the sexual intercourse, okay?
Orgasm.
Wait. Orgasm is not like this. It's you have to work for it, right? First we have to do work. Like he's saying, first we have to work, and then we will get that. So during the sexual intercourse, our body temperature increases. So the more body temperature increases, and our mind can experience more pleasure or more joy, right? So something very similar. So that's why when we are excited, our body heat comes up. And then when you are very close to the orgasm, that moment, the inner body temperature goes up. Okay, so that's why this heat and the pleasure or the bliss can't be separated. So that's the Tummo's work. Do you get it? Yeah, but that part is not the sexual practice itself. Okay, if you want to know about the sexual practice, you can read my new book, The Yoga of Bliss. It's called Karma Mudra. Okay, that book talks about this part, but Tummo itself, it doesn't talk about sexual union, but the pre-state, or in general, that mechanism, what's happening in our body and in our energy. Okay, that's called the Tummo. The name is funny. Tum in Tibetan. Tum means wild, dangerous, and aggressive. Okay, Mo means lady. So it's a kind of, that's why in this tradition, the feminine energy is a solar energy. Okay, many traditions, the lunar energy is the feminine energy, right? That's an insult for women. Okay, all right. Any other questions? Yes.
I just have one question about, you were talking about the three gates. So if you're, how do you know? I mean, is it like a spoken language that people tell you,
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
So with Tummo, I guess you may
can measure the temperature. You know, in the West, we like to, you know, measure things and quantify things. And so, like, for example, in dream yoga, I mean, how do you know if somebody was able to enter and mindfully, you know, dream and
Of
sleep and
course.
so forth?
Of course.
So what are the indications and what would the person look for? You know,
Dream yoga, if you have many dreams. Dream
I'm
yoga,
sure that
if
you
you
will
have
talk
many
about this.
dreams. Yeah. But then the real secret of dream yoga, I will tell you tomorrow. Of course, in dream yoga, you have to be lucid. Okay? You have to be lucid. Once you become the lucid, then you can do many things. Yeah, we try to do a research to, you know, scientific research on dream yoga. So we want to know what's happening during when we are doing the dream yoga, right? So in the dream, normally the problem in the dream is we get lost in the dream. Normally we don't realize we are dreaming. But once you know you are dreaming, it's called lucid dreaming. And so dream yoga starts with that lucid dreaming. And then of course we have some other practices and which helps to be lucid when we are dreaming. Okay.
And you get
And the
refreshed.
three gates are like this, you know. For example, many people, I think they know, let's say somebody is kind of very sad and very, you know, feeling bad. And then some people, they know if it is do some sport and exercises, after that they feel better, right? And some people, they don't feel they can't do this. And then maybe they just meditate or think and try to understand. But once they answer, then they feel okay. So, and some people, they can't do both of them. They just need to talk to somebody. They need to talk to your friends and this and that, you know. After you are being talking and, you know, disturbing that person, so that's like more like your typology, okay? I think more or less like we know these things, right? Then some people, they don't like to talk to other people, maybe, yeah, for different reasons. So that's why like we can say three types of people. The body type of people, they like to use more the body, and through the body, they can balance their emotions. Or some people, they use the mental analytic part, then they calm themselves down. And some people, they simply need to talk. Okay, so that's why it's a kind of, we can say it's a kind of typology. But then when we talk about 6 yogas, yeah, what kind of people they should do, what kind of practice and so on, of course. Dream yoga, it's something to do with the dream itself. So if you dream a lot, dream yoga is a perfect chance, you know, because then let's say if you dream a lot and if you do dream yoga, then 2 in 1. One is you are sleeping, you are resting, you are dreaming the regular thing, and number 2 is becoming your spiritual path too. Okay, because in any case, the night, you know, we have day and the night. So 70% in our life is daytime, and 30%, more than 30% is nighttime. So 1/3 of our life we spend for sleeping and dreaming. And if we are able to use, you know, that moment, you know, if we take as a chance for doing spiritual practice or this, I think it's perfect. And today, especially about meditation, yogas, and so many people, they are not finding time, you know, no time for meditation, no time for yoga, no time for nobody, and no time for myself, no time, like time pressure, it's a big problem. But that's why I think the clear light and the dream yoga, for me, my favorite yoga is dream yoga. I think like that moment, you cannot say you don't have time. Okay, you are sleeping and you are in the dream and you know you have time. And then especially if you become lucid, so you can really do many things. You can do time travel, you can enter somebody else's dream and disturb them, poke them and come back. And when you wake up, you're completely rested, well rested, okay? Of course, in the beginning, if you focus too much dream yoga, then you wake up, you feel tired. But once you get used to it, Like you can control the dream. Okay. So that's why, in another word, yoga means like how to master. Okay. So body yoga means how to master your body. Speech yoga means how to master your speech. Mind yoga is how to master your mind. And in this case, dream yoga is part of the mind yoga. So it means how to master our dream. Right? Like now, what is our ordinary condition of the dreams? We dream and we run and we work and we do this and that, and we do so many things. We get tired and this and that, right? Some people do work so much in the dream. They work so hard and they work so much, and they don't know nobody will pay them. And some people, they try so hard to pass the exam in the dream. They know they never receive the certificate, but still they want to pass that exam. And yeah, the dream world, it's for me, it's really like another space. We call it in the Tibetan tradition, we call it outer space, and then there's one is called the inner space. So the inner space can be the head space or heart space, mind or heart, it doesn't matter, but it's a complete universe. Okay, the dream universe is another complete universe. Right? So it's really amazing if you know how to master that universe, right? And in this universe, when we are awake, this universe is like, we try to master our life, but sometimes it's out of our control, right? Because of family, because of this and that. Of course, the best is we master this life too. But this life for us is becoming a real life. It's difficult to master. But in the dream, if we don't know we are dreaming, it's exactly the same like this. But if you know you are dreaming, and then you are the master, and then you are the God. So that part is called the dream yoga. Then we can do anything there. Yes?
Would this be different than witnessing your sleep? Would this be different than witnessing your sleep?
What sleep?
Witnessing, watching yourself sleeping?
Watching yourself sleeping.
Watching, just being aware.
That's more about clear light yoga. Clear light yoga, the moment you sleep, falling asleep, awareness, sleep with awareness, wow, light. Like this. This one, it's the falling process. We do some meditations, mantras. From tomorrow, we do these things. But dream yoga itself, it happens in the dream. It has to happen in the dream.
I have two questions.
Yes, please.
The first one is it possible to have all those gates at the same time?
Of course. It's
Typology,
called,
right? That's a
called
goal.
the cocktail guy.
So that's the goal for some people too.
Yes.
If
And
they
some
have all
people,
those
there are
aspects.
two gates,
Yeah.
together.
Okay, so
Single gates, 2 gates, and triple gates, yeah.
okay, that's good.
Thank you.
It's nice to know. You don't have to be one or the other. And then my question.
That's a very good question. Thank you.
My question has to do with the definition of lucid dreaming. And at one point I thought that it was to know that to be able to meditate in a dream was lucid dreaming, that aspect was very important. But on the other hand, it's also just knowing that you're dreaming and that you can change or control whatever.
Yeah, that's second one.
That's more that. So the meditation doesn't matter whether you.
Meditation, Yeah, once you know you are dreaming, if you want to meditate, you meditate. If you want to run, you can run.
Yeah. I guess it's a choice in that way, but it was
Exactly.
originally presented to me as that was when you really know that you're lucid dreaming is when you can meditate within a dream.
That's a little part of dream yoga.
Yeah.
Very little part.
Well, lucid dreaming is much less complex than dream yoga.
Dream yoga is very complex.
Yeah.
Yes.
And lucid dreaming is
It's
really
just
just
a-
being aware within the
Just the
dream.
one beginning part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, there is a question, what's different between lucid dreaming and dream yoga? Dream yoga is much more complex.
Yeah.
But the base is the same, you know?
Right. Well, you have to have lucid dreaming in order to go on to dream yoga, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got it. Mhm. All right. Yes, any other questions? Yes?
Can you make sure you knock on my dreams tonight, please? Come and visit the
Assignment.
dreams and wake us up, get us lucid.
That will start tomorrow. Actually, probably tomorrow afternoon you'll sleep here and I will come with my stick.
No.
No, why not? Welcome to Dream Yoga class. I'm the master.
It's a new method.
Yeah, we do that too. You know, when you are sleeping, we will see one of this night if Bob will come back early. One of the thing is when you are really in the night sleeping, so I should disturb you. I will say catch the dream. It means you have to be lucid. But sometimes you hear my voice in the dream and then you know you are dreaming. But we will see. Yeah. Normally when we get trained it's like that. Yeah.
Do you want us to write down?
Mhm. Yeah, today I just did the introduction part and tomorrow, from tomorrow morning, we'll start the Dream Yoga class. Okay? Yes?
And how about if you decide with another person that you're gonna dream and meet somewhere in your dreams together?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can make a location that you're both going to meet at.
Yeah. You can decide to meet somebody, a real person. You can decide to meet the people who already passed away. You can even visit the heaven. You can talk to God if you want. And yeah, you can find good lovers too. Maybe next days I will tell you a good story, a very nice love story.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, a Tibetan monk. So in real life, he was a monk, but in the dream world, he was free. So he started a love story. When they had some fight with her, and then he just wake up. That's it. When he misses her, he take a nap. Yeah. They're in the dream. There are really amazing things. Another one, maybe some of you love and liberation. Okay, if you guys like to read the book, like how do you say, biographies. Like if you like to read stories, autobiographies, there's one book is called Love and Liberation. Yeah, very famous Tibetan lady master. Very, very famous lady master. So she talks about her love story and about her spiritual liberation. She had an amazing life journey. And she has very interesting dream stories too. When, at a young age, she was meeting somebody, an Indian yogi, and this yogi was teaching her something, and then she wakes up and she's doing that kind of meditation, and it really worked on her, this and that. And then I think when she was about, she really wanted to practice Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, but she never had chance to study. And then she was kind of constantly struggling. She even didn't have time to study Tibetan language, how to read, write and read. And then, but in the dream, she was meeting with great masters, receiving teachings and these things. And then one night, she met one of her master, and he was giving so many teachings. And then he said, write it down. She said, oh, master, I don't know how to write and read. And then he said, do it. It was like a nightmare for her. She woke up, and then she thought, maybe I can write down this teaching. She tried. The writing was perfect. So she wrote 14 volumes.
Wow.
Okay. She never studied even ABC, Kaka, Ganga, You see, dream yoga is so cool. You can skip all schools and studies and exams. Actually, yes, her book, her writing style is really, really, really amazing.
What's her name?
Sarah Kandro. The book is Love and Liberation. Okay? Yeah.